Some members of staff of Heritage Bank, in a video now circulating online, besieged the residence of former senator from Anambra State, Andy Ubah. Well, according to the protesters, the former senator collected...
It's Andy Ubah, not Andy Ubah, right? One thing this video will show you would reaffirm what I said earlier. Like George Orwell said in Animal Farm, all animals are not equal. All animals are not equal. If you watch this video, you begin to ask yourself, they said this man owed bank. Rather than bank to use the legal process to go and get their money back, they resorted to protest. I am not against that they protested, but I'm more worried to what have prompted them to protest. That is again where injustice dwell. It means these people within this bank have been threatened to lose their jobs. Now, and that comes back to the meat of the matter in the Nigerian system, where senselessness is the order of the day. Why are we not worried about who negotiated this loan with the senator? Who negotiated this loan and who signed it with what collateral? No, nobody is interested in that. But suddenly people just want to go and protest. Now, once more, for those of you joining me this evening, if this is your first time of joining me, quickly and kindly, please click on the subscribe button, subscribe to this platform if you haven't, if you've been watching. And sometimes when I look at the back end, it says about 75% of people that keep coming back watching me haven't subscribed. And I'm like, what for? Do you hate me that much? Do you hate my face? You keep coming back watching my content, but you couldn't just click to subscribe. How about now? Now, beggar the beggar, okay? So kindly subscribe. Again, because we're not streaming on Facebook this evening, there are some, I think probably we have gone back. Oh, hold on. No, let me see. If we try, let me try. Okay, we are unable to stream live on Facebook this evening, but please, because of that, kindly share this video. Share this video both on Facebook, on YouTube. Share to your friends on WhatsApp so that they can see the good work we are doing here. So now I come back to what I was saying before. When you now see why someone will not be asking the right question, but people will just come out to say they are protesting. Let's watch this.
That all manner of loans from the bank, which is impacting the ability of the institution to fulfill its obligations to depositors. Let's take a look at the video before we come back for a discussion.
Senator Andy Ubah has been owing the bank for a couple of years now. And we're here for a peaceful meeting with him, very peaceful meeting, to ask him to kindly...
Sometimes I don't understand Nigerians. So this one here at the back of the camera, blowing grammar, saying we come from... Now, so when they do meeting, do you engage in meeting with placards? I won't be surprised that even Andy Ubah will now go and sue these people. But again, when you get to court, the bank would even deny it, that we didn't even come to your house. Maybe it was a remnant of NSAS protesters, and they can go on the street and arrest somebody. It's possible.
Repay those loans because those are depositors' funds. And those monies, if they are not repaid, we throw the number of people you see here with their families out of work. And we know the situation of the economy now. So if this number of people are thrown out of work, you know what it means. So we're here to appeal to him, the distinguished senator, to kindly pay this money so that...
Again, you see that mentality, why this nation can, before we cure ourselves, it's a very long way. Someone is owing you, you're here protesting, and at the same time, you're still using the word distinguished senator. What is he distinguishing? I wouldn't be surprised to hear His Excellency. And I'll ask again, what is excellence in the act? In the act, again, don't get me wrong. all of us have debt. Me, I have debt as well. Even the debt itself, it swallow me. But it doesn't matter. Every month, you must keep paying. Any of you that has mortgage will understand what it means. That every month, whether you chop, you no chop, you sleep, you no sleep, you must pay your mortgage. So it means that any one of you in the diaspora watching me, many of you in Nigeria here who also have these monthly obligations, you have these debts to pay. But where it becomes criminal is when probably you're doing other things and you're not able to pay things you ought to. You ought to, and you're able to.
These people will not lose their job, and of course, the bank becomes a going concern. Thank you very much.
Well, Tunde, I guess this is a method they're using to embarrass the former senator to pay his loans. But there are so many questions here. And the first one, which is, how did he get the loans in the first place if he couldn't pay?
Well, this is the thing. They're trying to shame him into paying, but that's not a novel idea. I've received text messages. Have you? Just somebody on your contact list. Such and such person is owing money, get them to pay. People put other people on blast on social media, and now we have picketing. Now to your question, I don't see why the staff is being made to do the dirty work. The MD should be there. If anybody's going to carry a placard, it should be the MD, because whatever failure has occurred, whether in diligence or in something else, it's down to the managing director of the bank, and that's who's responsible to the board for avoidable losses. He has to account to the board for that. He should be there, not the staff. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about it. But
Tundu, these staffs, I can bet my life on it. These staffs were threatened. These staffs might even be those that are employed 2-3 years ago. Those who knew nothing, they were not even bankers when this loan was taken. Again, I can't remember, was it Fayose or who said it, that the moment you win an election, that these banks will come to you. So they will give you credit cards that say you have a 500 million limit on it, credit card. They will throw all these things at you because your name is Excellency. So these are people, the bankers actually are the people encouraging Nigerians to steal. But now, when a Nigerian who needs this money will now go to the bank, give them brilliant business ideas, their problem will be, this grammar in these business ideas. You are not, which grammar you go job. Can't you understand what the guy is trying to say? No, you won't. If at all you will now tell him to go and get the middle finger of the dead grandma, the third finger of the dead uncle, and go and get all the papers. Come on. By the time the person finishes, he can't even get the loan. Just maybe to get 2-3 million. And you now tell that person, okay, I'm going to give you 25% interest. Who does it? It is criminal. But hey, when it is those that have gone to win, either by selection or by winning election or by driving aeroplane or by whatever, they've won this election, you issue them this thing, be following them. If they don't come for dinner, you will send all these popoyish looking girls to go and, demand. If they say, hi, so make it a go Zaza room. After Zaza room, the man will sign. So that's why the truth is not coming out. Like they said here, where is the MD? But rather, these are young graduates. You just put them on the street, go and protest. I mean, it's just absolute nonsense.
But for me, in terms of civility, in terms of optics, this is ugly. It looks bad for the former senator. It looks bad for the bank.
Yes.
And we have laws in this country. We all talk about, the government this, the government that. But how do we, everyday Nigerians, conduct ourselves? Speaking of everyday Nigerians, they don't get loans from banks now, do they? And if at all they ever default, they're not going to be treated as nicely as so-called important people in society are. I'm sure there were so many phone calls, so many text messages. I'm sure they have begged and pleaded with the former senator before it escalated to this. Your ordinary Nigerian does not get that grace. But I digress. Now we have laws in this country, although we like to act like we don't. Banking and Other Financial Institutions Act of 2020, yes. Section 102, create a credit tribunal. What's wrong with that? Even last year, I remember on this show, we were having arguments on this show, discussions about the new initiative from banks that if a defaulting borrower has an account in another bank, you can access that person's money. So there were issues of privity of contract and whether their rights have been infringed. There are other routes than this. It's undignified.
I agree with you, Dr.
Okay,
Martin.
this is a very novel approach to securing of debts by financial institutions. And I guess many Nigerians will be shocked that we now have a situation whereby bank staff will say, well, we don't want to lose our jobs, our families will be affected, and they will go to the home of an alleged debtor and carry placards and say this is peaceful. There's no way in which that was peaceful.
No.
Ruben, do not be surprised that when Andy Ubah sues the bank, quote me, write this date down. You will hear unknown protesters. You know, today we have people killing each other everywhere in Nigeria. We say it's unknown gunmen. It is now becomes a catchphrase to say UGM. You will soon have UPS, unknown protesters, with the S at the end. From UGM, we will join to UPS. We already, during the time of Fela, when Fela's mom was killed, we already have unknown soldiers, US. By the way, maybe that is the reason why the country's name was about to be changed to UAR. Maybe it is unknown African Republic. What a joke. What a joke. Somebody wrote here, what a joke. Honestly, it's not funny, but what can you do? Can you cry?
Because they were picketing the home of a bank customer. Is that what the rules say? Now, I guess if you want to take a loan from a bank, you provide collaterals. The loans will be secured. Is it that in this particular case, the loans were unsecured?
That's the question.
Were the loans alleged? Were they given without collaterals? A bank also has the option of taking a defaulting customer, or debtor to the courts. Now, why did they not consider that option? What the Heritage Bank staff have done amounts to a resort to self-help. 3, is the management of the bank aware of it? In one report, the bank said they were not aware of it, and this was just this.
You see, as if I knew. They would deny. Okay, let us pick our brain. In the comment section, what are the unknown things we have? Can you help me? Unknown president. The governors who abdicate from their duty, we have unknown governors. We have unknown gunmen. We have unknown soldiers, unknown police, unknown protesters are joined. Hey.
Staff are doing this. Now, if they're not aware of it, this is to what effect? The other leg of it is that recently the Senate passed a bill empowering AMCON, the Asset Management Company of Nigeria, to go after assets that they can locate of people owing the banks who are debtors, and then take control, seize control of those assets. Many years back, we got to know that many of the people who put themselves out, and that's the popular side of the analysis, as billionaires in Nigeria, are actually debtors. People who are doing big men on other people's money and who are not willing to pay back. So, OG, some of these your so-called billionaires, they are really debtors.
Which billionaires? I don't even know what is. Well, you mean the ones on Forbes?
Well, I'm just talking generally. However, by resorting to self-help, yes, Senator Andy Ubah will have been, has been thoroughly embarrassed. He wants to run for governor in Anambra State. This may damage his political fortunes.
Absolutely.
But
who cares? He won governor once and didn't stay under Obasanjo. He was removed because they stole the governorship from, obviously, the court removed him. Now, do you know my worry? and I want to anchor this here. My worry is, as my good brother, Dr. Damages, always said, Kafunefune de tua, funefuna oyadaga. If with all this debt, somebody now comes into office with all this humongous debt and gets the key to the vote of a whole state, I want to leave the graphic details to you to imagine what a hungry goat will do in a yam farm where he comes in and you have all these hefty yams and the goat is hungry. I wonder what preachment and morality that goat would have not to do the call of nature. That's the way I put it, the call of nature. As citizens, isn't it better and isn't it time that maybe as part of our responsibilities, we begin to clamor that as part of the electoral process, anyone who is owing bank unserviceable debt, not because debt owing is not something bad, but you must be up to date with your debt services. I owe bank 10 billion. My monthly obligation is maybe 11 million. I must not default, or rather I must not be seen to have defaulted 1 or 2 months of that debt service. That must be. I owe bank 13 naira. I must not be seen that I have defaulted in paying my 1 naira 20 kobo every month. Because you must get to that point. If your name is maybe with AMCON, that they've taken over your company, for Christ's sake, we must open our eyes that we should not allow such people to come into governance. It doesn't matter at which level. Because these are things that we should begin to take serious, that if you want to come into governance, there should be a level where you begin to think, okay, what are the things, what are the consequences of my action? If not, just remain a private business person, but do not have keys to the coffers. It's as simple as that.
This is a contractual relationship. Right. And I think the way the bank has gone about it, and I think that's the reason why the bank is saying it has no hands in it.
Of course, it's embarrassing.
Senator Andy Ubah is in a position to sue the bank for resorting to blackmail and unusual tactics in order to recover debt. And if he goes to court and he presses charges against the court, he may be able to win against the bank and those people.
No, Ruben, he cannot win. Ruben, you're a lawyer, you should understand this. The protesters are not known. The bank has already denied it's unknown protesters. So we have unknown everything. Even Ekwam here says unknown female newscaster with unknown natural. So there are the level of unknown it's enormous. So because it's unknown, there is nothing you can do. But it is honestly, it is a trouble.
Who have gone out there to embarrass him. The real fear among the billionaires is that if the Heritage Bank gets away with this, then no billionaire is safe again. Because it could become something that other bank staff may imitate.
So in front of their house.
In that regard, we may see more dramas. We may see more dramas
Can you imagine
of
that?
this type. So billionaires beware. If you borrow money, make sure you pay.
I love it.
Otherwise, the NSAS protesters will join bank staff to come and carry placards.
Only with the MDs.
If you borrow, you pay.
MDs must go there.
Rufai, I'll take our final story.